Welcome to a new episode of Visionary Ventures, where today we're diving into the world of art, activism, and innovation with the phenomenal Shurooq Amin. As a trailblazer for Arab female artists and pioneer in the NFT space, Shurooq's journey spans over 3 decades of challenging norms and pushing boundaries. Join us as we explore her path from the canvas to digital art and how she uses her canvas to instigate change. First of all, Shuruk, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to host you on the podcast.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
I know you have a very busy and tight schedule, and it's summer, and you're in between flying out of the country and some stuff. So, again, it's really a pleasure to connect with you.
Thank you.
I'm really interested about your journey. I've been following you for some time now, and I know what you were doing in the digital space, and uh, it's truly something not that common in the MENA region, and I wish it will ripple and will take a huge impact, especially in the region because we need it in the Middle East. So, Shuruk, navigating the world of art and activism must be incredibly demanding. How do you maintain your focus and your mental focus and keep your creative energies flowing?
Well, that's a good question. I didn't expect you to start with that question, Carl. How do I keep my creative juices flowing? I'm always trying to be the main character in my own story, and I think of life as as our story, right? We're here for a very short period of time in our lifespan. We're on this rolling big planet. We're here 1 second, we're gone the next. So it really has been my MO since I was 7 years old, let's say, that I realize how short life is and we have to make the most of it. And by that, it doesn't mean that you have to work so hard and kill yourself with work. Not at all. It's actually to do every single day what you can do in the best way possible. Because your entire life, when you look back at your entire life, it really was a series of days. It's what you do per day. And people forget
Yeah.
that. People have dreams, but they get so overwhelmed because they think, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this. It's too much. I can't do it. And they focus on the how. How am I going to do it? Now, what you have to do is not focus on the how. You just have to focus on your dream and focus on today. What are you doing to take the first step towards your dream? Don't think how it's going to get done. You want to start a massive entrepreneurship business. You want to get into NFTs. You want to sell a product. You want to travel the world. Whatever your dream is, you don't focus on how am I going to get there? I don't have the money to do it. I don't have the manpower to do it. Don't focus on that. Focus on today. What am I going to do today? This has been my secret since I was a child, actually. And if you look back at all the things I've accomplished in the last 3 to 4 decades of my life, it's probably more than people do in 5 or 6 lifetimes. And it's not because I'm so great at anything special. It's because I really focus on what I'm doing today. So I wake up today and I think, okay, you know what? I want to do, I don't know. I want to help somebody somewhere in the world. What am I going to do? So I don't know. I download an app for charity. I start giving money. Get online. I look at volunteer retreats where you can go to different countries and help refugees or help homeless people. It's really as simple as that. It's just taking those small steps in your day to get to that accomplishment. Like one of my dreams is to be a philanthropist, you know? And then I think, oh, but I don't have the money. to be a philanthropist. You need a lot of money to build foundations and schools and hospitals. So what do? I focus on actually doing what I can today, which is actually getting online, volunteering to help, for a week in whichever country, things like that. Small steps that you take every day. So creatively, I'm always turned on creatively because the world is incredible. There's always things happening around us. And I personally am motivated by injustice. That's my motivation. When I see something unfair in the world, I get really pissed off. And instead of just being pissed off and doing what most people do, which is complain about it to whoever will hear you, did you see what happened on the news? Wasn't this blah, blah, blah? Oh my God, what are we get? The world is ending. I don't do that. I don't complain. What I do is I put it on paper or canvas. So if there's an issue that's going on in the world that I'm unhappy with, I'm just going to translate that into an image because that's a gift I have. I can do images, I can paint. Or as a writer, I can put it into a poem, I can put it into a blog, I can write content about it. So I try to, that is what really pushes me in my art, in my writing, in my life, is all the injustice going on and what can I do about it. And right now, one of the things I can do about it, or one of the things I have been able to do about it, is opening a dialogue, getting people to think, making people realize that there are hypocritical issues going on that we can actually do something about, because we as the people have more power than that particular issue. It's just that we have to unite. We have to put our thought together, our energy together, and speak up about it.
So you're fueled by all the happenings in the world, and this is what is driving you on all fronts. And creatively, I know that you ventured into painting, into writing poems, recently into also NFTs and digital art. So aren't you afraid that at some point you will be deceived till an extent that where Shurooq will maybe give up on fighting this fight?
There have been many opportunities for me to give up. I've been shut down by authorities more than once. I've been investigated. I've been questioned. I've received the kind of hate mail that can really devastate people, that may have pushed other people to the edge. I have received death threats. So I have had my children be bullied because I'm their mom. I've been through so much negativity from external influences and forces to really push me towards the edge where I just want to give up. But I've never given up, but I am human. I go through phases where I get really sad and upset. And I get to the point where I almost want to give up, but then there's just this fire inside me that's very stubborn. I really, really hate to be told what to do. I cannot take orders from anything or anybody. I need to really I've always been a leader, not a follower. I've never been one of the sheep, let's say. I've always been, if somebody said, but everyone is doing this, it's the trend. For me, well, okay, it's a trend. It's what's everyone doing. That's
That's
precisely
why I don't want to do it.
That's why I don't want to do it. I'm not part of a trend. I'm, I'm going to create the trend. I'm not going to follow the trend. So I've always had that extra bit of love of life, appreciation of the fact that we're alive, gratitude towards God, the universe, gratitude towards our existence, gratitude towards, the fact that I have my eyes and my hands, and I always say, thank you. That sense
Do
of
you
gratitude.
think that this gratitude helped you overcome these pushbacks and setbacks and
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. This feeling of focusing on what really matters and pushing away the external, really going within is really what helped me. So in the worst times ever, when I've almost been pushed towards, I've had my breakdowns, I've cried, I've felt like I just don't want to see or do anything anymore. I've reached those breaking points. But what stops me from tipping over is that I bring myself back to, okay, Shurooq, in this moment, what is missing? There's nothing missing. I have a roof over my head. My children are safe. I have food in my fridge. I'm warm. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I'm really one of the luckiest people on the planet because hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people can't say that. So
yeah.
I'm okay and I'm going to be okay. And this really changes my perception, changes my perspective. Really, it's really a kick in the teeth and a wake up. What the hell, like it really wakes me up and it puts me back on track. And then I just keep going. That's it. I just keep going.
I, I love what you just said because, yeah, once we're inside the problem, in the happening of all these external events, we don't realize what's happening really. And we think that this is the end, like this is very dangerous. However, once we have this millisecond just to zoom out a bit from wherever we are and see it from an external point of view, we realize that really it's not that worse, and we're fine, we're okay. And as you said, the primary and essential things are there, and thank God for it. And life goes on. We move on. We will have to get over a million things and more within our lifetime. And I truly believe that you achieved a lot and you conquered a lot of obstacles. And as you just mentioned, all these hatred and censorship and bad things that were following you, it's not easy to conquer them. So kudos on that.
Thank you.
As an artist, you constantly are involved in creating and curating. How do you ensure to keep your physical health in check? We spoke about the mental, so now I'm interested about the physical. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a bit more about that?
It's an excellent question, Carl. People don't focus on that. People always ask the typical questions. Actually, the physical, I always think of mind, body, and soul. So I focus on the mental. I do my meditations and my spiritual practice for the spiritual, and then for the body, I
Getting into
always,
that in a few.
yeah, daily, I have to do 20 minutes of movement. 20 minutes is my minimum daily. If I'm sick, if I'm tired, if I'm pissed off, if I'm lazy, if I'm just don't want to do it, if I'm depressed, I'll have to get up and do 20 minutes of movement. I don't call it workout because the days where I feel truly low on energy, I don't have it in me to lift weights and do my crunches and do my Pilates. But what I
Move,
do,
only move.
just move. I'll put some music, I'll flow, I let my body move how it wants. It might be a sad movement, that's okay. So I allow my body to move how it wants. Sometimes I'll just stretch, I'll do some stretching, I'll just breathe into my body, listen to it, what does it want? And luckily, most of the time, I end up being so inspired by the fact that my body is moving, and I'm grateful that my body is moving, that it actually craves more, and I end up doing a workout, and I don't go to the gym. I don't have time for gym, especially like getting into a car and driving, and it's a lot of wasted time for me. Going to the gym and back. So
The commute.
the commute.
Yeah.
So I actually just work out at home. I just have a mat. I have a set of dumbbells. I have my bands, and I'll just do, my yoga breaks. I'll do either yoga, Pilates, weights, and that's it. So I get my 20 minutes in daily. And once that 20 minutes is done, usually in the morning at some point, it really sets me up for the rest of the day, because my morning routine is sacred for me. My 20-minute movement, my 10-minute meditation, 10-minute journaling or writing. So, all in all, the whole thing takes about an hour. The whole thing, which is my time for me. But that's 40 minutes to an hour that I have gifted to myself every single morning, is what makes it all easy. Everything becomes easy. I'm ready to face the day. I'm ready to face problems. I'm ready to take on challenges. I'm ready to paint. I'm ready to write. I'm ready to talk to artists. I'm ready to, anything.
To have a
I'm ready
podcast,
for it.
to
Yeah,
record a podcast. I
exactly.
believe that I believe that a morning routine and a daily routine shouldn't be
Yeah,
only a morning, can be at night for
yeah,
some people as well. It's what suits every person, and our bodies are vehicles at the end of the day, and we use them on a daily basis. And if we go into what is needed to fuel this vehicle, it's movement, it's nourishment, it's care.
yeah.
And talking about that, any specific diets that you follow? Any uh, I don't know.
Yeah, actually, when it comes to food, I'm very unorthodox. I'm very weird. I don't eat 3 meals a day. I don't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm not a snacker. What I do is I eat when I feel hungry, which it sounds difficult, but actually it's really easy if you stop listening to what you're supposed to do and actually do what you feel like doing. So for me in the morning, I have to have my morning cup of coffee. That is, I the best thing of my day is the morning cup of coffee. It's the most amazing feeling in the world, is to make that first cup of coffee. But then I'll do my morning routine and I will not eat. And after I've done my movement, checked emails, whatever it is I need to do, at that point I'll feel like, okay, I want to eat, put something in my system. By then it's around noon. So I'll have Greek yogurt, I'll have a slice of toast with some lebna, I'll have, something light like that. Usually it's a type of a yogurt though in the morning. Um, and then that's it until I get hungry again, which is around mid afternoon. By then I'll have some protein, chicken, mincemeat, steak. I'm very much like protein, focusing always on protein. Also, it's an age thing. Women my age, once you get after, past 50, let's say women past 40 even, you have to really focus on getting a lot of protein, because you want to maintain your muscle. You want to make sure you really grow that muscle, and not, because as we age, we lose a lot of muscle. So I always focus on protein, a lot of chicken, a lot of eggs, a lot of meat. If I'm full, I won't even have anything else with it. I actually don't eat salads, believe it or not. I'm not a salad person or a green person. It gives me problems in my digestion. I can't handle it. I have very sensitive stomach, so I can't do greens. So if I want to have my vegetables, I'll have them roasted, you know, and then that's it. And I usually stop
Mhm.
eating by 8 p.m. I never eat after 8 p.m. unless, let's say, it's an event and there's a buffet and there's a dinner and they've served it very late. That's a one off. So I am flexible in the sense of, for my social life, once a week, if I go out, I will change these rules. But on a daily basis, I'm usually stop eating by 8 o'clock. I don't eat after that. And I drink a lot of water. I have like 3 to 4 liters of water a day. I drink only water. I drink nothing but water. And it's sometimes too much water for normal people, but I guess my body needs it. I don't know.
Yeah, uh, it's really an interesting diet and a balanced one. I'm trying to do a bit similar, but more proteins, especially in the morning as well. But not eating after 8 p.m., I believe it's
Yeah.
crucial, and at least for me as well. You mentioned something about being a woman and shifting your diet as you grow as well. It's interesting to bring it up because in my last episode, I had Paulina. She's an entrepreneur, model, singer, and performer. And she was mentioning that her diet and her lifestyle goes also around her cycle as well. And she mentioned something that I can share it with you later on. I don't know if you're aware of it. Depending on your menstruation cycle, she goes into the different stages of what to eat, how to eat, and how to act to work out, even which type of workout is suitable for the woman's body. So thank you for that
Yeah,
reminder as
yeah.
well.
Oh, well, how to work out, what to work out, definitely. I know a lot about that because I've been into fitness since I was a child, really. I used to be a ballerina, then I got into salsa dancing and Latino dancing. I've always been moving my body. I've always been working. I remember back in the day when Jane Fonda was all the rage and her workouts first came out in the 80s. I hopped onto it as a kid, straight
You
away.
had the VHS.
Yes, yes, the VHS, absolutely. Oh my goodness, the tapes. But we're blessed to have gone through. I'm blessed. I don't know how old you are, but I'm blessed to have gone through all those decades and seen everything. It's incredible. Like, and my kids find it fascinating. My kids are very retro, by the way. They should have been born in the 80s. My kids are like, wow,
Oh,
you're so
nice.
lucky, mom.
I'm
Like,
32, but yeah, I'm a bit retro as well.
yeah, so
I
they're
know
like
the different.
records, the
Yeah,
records, vinyl was the best, and the Walkman, and this. You had the best era, the best clothes, the best. I was like, not the best clothes. Let's not talk. The clothes were embarrassing. Okay, the clothes were embarrassing. The hair and the earrings, but the music was great for sure. 80s music was amazing. Yeah, but yeah,
yeah, that's the
definitely.
golden age back then. Thank you for that. Moving on to a bit of spirituality. I know you mentioned bits and pieces, but I'm really interested to know more about your spiritual beliefs and what influenced you in your artistic expression and your activism as well.
Well, I guess I would say I'm far more humanitarian and spiritual than religious. So I believe in being kind, being moral. I believe in God, but I don't necessarily believe that one way is better than the other when it comes to religion. So for me, there is only one way,
Mhm.
and that one way is a universal love, a universal kindness, a universal generosity. We're all human beings. We're all made of flesh and blood and bones and muscle, and we all want the same things. We want peace for our children, safety, shelter, food, success, enough money to be comfortable. We all, at the base of it, want the same things. We are all the same at the base of it. So,
Love,
yeah. So for me, it really is about back to that concept of injustice, seeing how things are in my country, in the countries around me, in the world, globally, on a global scale. When I see something that I feel is just not fair, and people always say, "Oh, life is not fair." I'm sorry, but it should be fair. It should be. Why do we accept that? Oh, it's not fair, and that's you have to accept it. I don't accept it. I don't accept that it's not fair, and that's just the way it is. There's always something you can do, no matter how small it is. You're a human being. If you walk out the street and and you see something wrong, you see somebody beating up on someone, you should interfere. These days people are scared. They don't want to interfere. They might get hurt themselves. They don't want to get involved. And I feel that sense of community has kind of disappeared. We're no longer one community. Everybody's an island onto himself and herself, and I think that's a shame. And I think, by the way, partly that's what I loved about NFTs is the sense of community. I know I'm jumping off now, but that's one of the things that made me really, really love and support and be part of NFTs is that community, that Web3 community. We were so small back in 2020 when COVID hit and it all started and we discovered each other and we just grew together. Like literally like we watched each other grow. It was incredible. But I'm not going to get into that because I know you have questions about that. So I'm not
Okay,
going to
yeah,
ruin questions about that.
we we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned something in your last interview on the BBC, and it was really nice. And I love the way you mentioned it and you tackled the topic, which is in our society we're mostly focused on the MENA region, the GCC, the Gulf, and it's really interesting the way you portrayed that nowadays people, and especially the new generation, are okay with all the bad things, violence, and etc. that is happening, and they repent love, and they're not okay with love spreading and being comfortable, loving each others and making peace, etc. So
Yeah.
can you tell us a bit more about this topic and how you
Yeah.
tackled it personally in
Yeah.
your activities?
Of course. Yeah, I've noticed that since for years I've noticed that we are, especially in the MENA region, we are a region that, partly due to false cultural dogmas, partly because of misinterpreted religious criteria, whatever the reason is, we always think of love as haram. That word haram is, love is haram. But when it comes to violence, when it comes to hitting, like you'll see Arabic movies, he's always slapping her. There has to be a slap, like that's normal. Like it's in the Arab world, it's kind of normal to hit, and some type of violence is encouraged to teach. Let's say, like there's even people that believe in order to teach, back in the day in school, you had to hit with a stick. So that has been ingrained in our culture and our upbringing. And I used to be really upset when I see in the cinema, I'd go to a movie, and there's kids 7 and 8 years old in front of me with their parents watching a movie that had a lot of violence. It was a 18 plus movie, but for some reason an 8-year-old was allowed to enter the movie and watch this violence, spill guts and gore and everything, and that's okay. And then as soon as there was one kiss in the movie, it was cut. The censors cut the kiss, so you'll see the two heads coming at each other and then moving apart. You just don't actually see the kiss. And this to me was mind-boggling. How is this 8-year-old allowed to see, a beheading, but is not allowed to see a kiss between two people who care about each other? So this is how it started for me. And I
And
started,
why do you think that is happening?
well, that's, again, it's because we have this false misinterpretation of religion, and we have this false concept of what is culturally aib and not aib. So anything related to sex, anything related to male, female, anything related to, these days, male and male, female and female, it doesn't matter what the gender is, but anything related to any kind of affection or care between two individuals is seen as PDA. And we are a culture that everything happens behind closed doors. We don't allow PDA. So public displays of affection are haram and aib. Do whatever you want to do behind closed doors. Just don't put it in our faces. So the visual of a kiss, just a kiss, let alone sex, the visual, man, we all have our Netflix and we're all watching, soft porn on Netflix, but nobody flinches because they're watching it behind closed doors, right? However, just a kiss, for them, that is a visual that they're not used to. Our society is not used to seeing two people, kiss in the street, let's say. Okay. So what did I do? I painted my very famous King of Hearts, which people call the kiss. It's not called the kiss. It's called the King of Hearts, which is a kiss between a Khaliji man and a Khaliji woman. And it created the biggest fuss. It was censored. It was banned. I got so much hate for it. So I've pinned it on my Instagram. because that's what I'm going to do. When I get all that hate, I'm going to pin it. So it's the first thing you see. And the amount of messages that I have deleted and blocked. And in fact, my daughter the other day was saying, why did you block and delete all these messages? You know, you can go to a lawyer and get money for this, for every bad message. And I said, that's not who I am. I'm not going to make money out of this negativity. But you now, if you go, you're not going to see any bad messages, because as soon as somebody writes something, I delete it and I block them. But they'll say things like, you know, you are inciting immorality. This is disgusting. This is degrading. You are showing the Khaliji man in a humiliating position. You can't believe the things that are said about one kiss, but because it's a visual, and it's the only and first time that they've ever seen, you know, a painting of an Arab man and an Arab woman actually kissing. Mind you,
Publicly.
Yeah, publicly. It's this. I think it's a beautiful painting. I think it's, you know, it's, well, now it's become my iconic painting. If
It's a
anybody,
really nice painting, by the way.
thank you,
I love it, yeah.
thank you,
And the
and
background is really amazing as well. Is it really based on a photograph, or you created the whole thing?
no, it's based on actually a live, like it was a real person, like real people.
Okay,
Like
so you had people in front of
I
you
had it staged.
posing, and you were...
I had it staged. No, I mean, obviously I had
Okay.
posing, and then I took the photo. I'm not gonna, because I paint over weeks. I'm not one of those painters that sits a la fresco and paints something in 2 hours. I do a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers. My paintings are very thick with so many layers, you can't roll it. So even if it's shipped, it has to be shipped stretched on the canvas, because if you roll it, it's going to crack because it's very thick. So I paint with a lot of layers. And I like my music. I like to be in my studio, and I get in the zone, and I really zone out. So I have to really be in that space. So what I do with my paintings is I actually have photo shoots. I invite people over who are willing to be models for me, and I do photo shoots, and I have a visual of what I want, and I stage it. I ask them how I want them to be, and I provide them with clothes and whatever. And then I add the extra elements in the painting. So let's say for the King of Hearts, the couple was standing. Then I added the flowers in the background. That's from my head. I wanted the
Your
background
imagination.
black. Yeah, I wanted a purely black background, because that represents the darkness that I'm trying to bring people out of, the darkness that we're living in, and the white flowers that their love is blooming out of. The amount of beautiful white flowers blooming in the darkness is meant to be symbolic of love blooming in the worst circumstances. Under the darkest circumstances, it can still be there and bloom pure love, and white to represent purity. Yeah.
And what about covering the faces and having it blank, just painted a white face? Is it really to cover the person's identity, or is it maybe it can be anyone instead of that specific person?
Well, with the King of Hearts,
What do you mean about it?
with the King of Hearts, I didn't use that motif, but it is one of my motifs in many of my paintings. The man's face is covered with like a white mask, and the woman's with a white veil, white niqab. But what I'm trying to say here is that we are a society that can be more ourselves when we're wearing the mask. If you uncover the mask, you cannot be yourself. You have to be fake. And this is how our society raises us to be, is that behind closed doors, when nobody knows your identity, basically, when nobody knows who you are, you can be free. But as soon as people know this is you, you're restricted. You become restricted. You cannot be yourself. It's the same with women. one of the arguments I have about the niqab with women, the veil with women, people assume I'm always against the veil. And I say, actually, I think the veil gives women a lot of freedom, because when a woman covers her face with a veil, she can go anywhere. She can do anything. She can drive a motorbike. She can, I don't know what she's going to do. She can go meet her boyfriend. She can take a lover in the
She
afternoon.
cannot be identified, you mean?
Exactly. Nobody can know who she is, whose daughter is she, which family is she. Nobody knows. So she can be totally free. The minute she takes off the veil, and people see who she is, she's going to have to be prim and proper, do what's right, say the right thing, wear the right thing, behave in the right way. Completely changes. Completely. So for me, the masks were a
You
message.
gave me a new overview on the veil, and really it's a discovery that is really interesting the way you portrayed it. And so you believe that an unveiled woman has more responsibilities
Uh,
within the community than the veiled woman that is freer in a way.
yes, in a way, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I know a lot of people use the veil even when they're not forced to by their family. They will still put it on when they go out, because then they can flirt, they can exchange Snapchats, and nobody will know who they are. So, yeah.
I really like your overview, and thank you for that glimpse. Going back to your spiritual side, and I know we've covered a lot about how you integrated your beliefs and your ways of expression, writing, painting. Tell me a bit more about what is the medium that you prefer and that resonates the most with your spiritual views. Is it writing? Is it painting? What is really
It would,
something that
yeah.
hits on your spiritual view as Shurooq?
Um, it would have to be, I think writing comes first, because for me, my painting is more socio-political. It's a social and political message more than a religious one, and more of a cultural message. But in terms of religiously and spiritually, I'd say writing, because it's connected to my meditation, my journaling. It's connected to that part of me that is more introverted and more personal and private, let's say, because I don't like to impose my religious or spiritual beliefs on people. I'm a firm believer everybody's relationship with God, or lack thereof, whatever they believe, is their own personal relationship. And it's an intimate relationship. The spiritual realm is an intimate realm. To me, it's more sacred and more private than sex. It's really something that is so intimate and so private
Wow.
that it's not something you have to share with anyone. And the world would be a much better place if nobody shared it. And sharing it and try to enforce it, having missionaries and having people go and be like the days of the crusades, and then the people who are trying to make people Christians and trying to make them Muslims and trying to make them Jews. This is where the world went to hell. So for me, that realm is very
And
intimate
it's
inside.
still going,
Yes. Yes.
and it's still happening.
Yeah.
Uh, I totally agree with the overview, and I'm a firm believer that uh, everyone has the right uh, to have any religion or any beliefs that he or she wants,
Yeah.
but keep it for yourself, keep it private, and all will be good. At the end of the day, we're all humans and we can be all equal
Yes.
if we don't have these connotations and labels. So, lovely reminder. Moving on a bit to the business side, transitioning into the NFT world is a huge leap. And I know that you tackled it in 2020, as you mentioned before. But I'm interested to know what spurred this move and how was it, how has it changed the way you operate as an artist and curator?
Yeah. What got me into the NFT space was COVID. Uh, but there was a motivator for it. Basically, in January 2020, I had my last biggest exhibition ever in Kuwait at CAP, Contemporary Art Platform. It was a massive exhibition in a big hall. It was interactive. There was installation. There was video. There was paintings. There was sculpture. There was poetry. It was very, very multidisciplinary, and it was an exhibition I had been working on for 3 years. And from the paintings to the concept, it was a beautiful story that I really wanted to tell, and it was called "Like Russian Dolls, We Nest in Previous Selves," which is a line from a Diane Ackerman poem. That exhibition,
I love the collection, by the way.
thank you. That exhibition also got shut
It's
down
on your website.
by authorities. It got shut down. They came into the gallery. They took everything down. They insisted on the gallery manager to take all the paintings down. They shut down the gallery. They locked it up. They were going to put red wax on it, even. And, this happened to me before in 2012. It happened to me that they shut down my show. And after that, I started exhibiting in other countries. And my journey took me international. And I was represented in Dubai. And I did many shows in Dubai. But then 2020, I thought, it's about time I showed in Kuwait again. Everybody forgot. Kuwait has opened up. Things are different. Things are better. It's time I showed in my country again. And everybody wanted me to do a show in my own country because I was not doing shows in Kuwait. Unfortunately, it got shut down. And so I got investigated again. I got bashed on social media again. The whole thing, it was a deja vu for me. After that, a month later in February, the airport in Kuwait shut down because of COVID. And so we entered proper COVID shutdown. So everybody forgot about the show. Everybody forgot about the paintings. The paintings didn't really get the attention they deserved, the lifespan they deserved, because it got shut down, then COVID. And we were all at home, and I just got in front of my computer like everybody else around the world. All we had was our online world. And I discovered something called the blockchain. I discovered something called Web3, something called NFTs. And I started reading about it and Googling and learning. All of 2020 for me was about literally just three things: working out, Web3 research, and my kids. That's it. That's my whole life for all of 2020.
I had the same I had the same year minus the kids though.
Yeah. Yeah, work out and blockchain.
That was 2020.
Yeah. And so by 2021, I was ready. I was ready to get in there. And I thought, you know what, Shurooq, this is a world where you can show your paintings, you can draw whatever you want. Nobody can shut it down. Nobody can access the blockchain and actually, censor it. So that's how it started. I said, this is the perfect platform for me for freedom of expression, for finding a new audience for my work, an audience that's not going to be so easily offended, and that's exactly what happened. And I started with a collection called They Wanted Camels, I Gave Them Camels, which is a very sarcastic title. Directed towards the authorities.
Tell us a bit for the people. Yeah.
Well,
For the people who didn't see the collection.
so they wanted.
What describe it a bit, please?
Yeah, so the concept of They Wanted Camels was because they I was always getting these comments and, okay, she's a Kuwaiti. Why isn't she drawing camels? Why isn't she drawing the desert? Show us in a beautiful, show our beautiful heritage and culture. And I said, you know what? Okay, you want camels? I'm going to give you camels. And so what I did was I took the camel skull and I created a dystopian world where the camel skull was neglected and forgotten. And surrounding the camel skull were these characters telling a story. And I continued telling my stories with the camel skull in every artwork. And I called it They Wanted Camels, I Gave Them Camels. So it's kind of like, you know, finger to the authorities, and very sarcastic. And I loved doing it. I enjoyed it very much. And it sold out. The whole collection sold out. And then I started.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, how was it was a success. Your
Yes,
launch was a
yes,
success back then, and I believe that you reached your goals in the space
yeah,
as a first step.
yes. I
Are
started.
you satisfied?
Yeah, I started the Middle East and North African community, the MENA region community, on Twitter at the time with spaces. There were not many Arabs in the space. There were hardly any women in the space. Certainly, I was the first Khaliji woman there. And so, what I did was I just started creating these spaces twice a week, and just inviting whoever wants to come from the MENA region. And soon we had a huge MENA community, and other people started wanting to come in from other countries, and we would welcome them from America, India, China, Korea, wherever. All the people were welcome to join. And I started I started becoming co-host to other bigger spaces in the community. So once a week, I would co-host with the biggest names in NFT and Web3, and then eventually, it just catapulted from there, and it just became bigger and bigger. And soon enough, I decided to have the first NFT exhibition in Kuwait in 2022, and I got almost 150 artists from around the world uh, to send over their work, and we minted it, and we did Kuwait's first ever NFT exhibition. It was good enough. I can't say it was a flaming success because, of course, crypto was not allowed in Kuwait. NFTs were unheard of. People don't even know what the blockchain is. Like it was putting a foot through the door. It was me opening up a new
Mhm.
world for the audience of Kuwait, and it did its purpose in that way,
And
and that got me
four
attention.
years after,
Yeah. Uh,
is it still going on? Are you still a true believer about the crypto, the blockchain, NFTs, and is it still a primary focus?
I'll tell you something. It did crash, but like anything, you remember when Dubai had a big bubble and it burst and it crashed and then it corrected itself? Like any new space, it's going to go through a fast growth and a bubble, and then it's going to crash, but then it's going to correct. And I believe now we are in the NFT space, it is being corrected. We are achieving a correction and things are balancing out. And the long term players are still in the space. People who are serious about it, people who have realized that crypto is here to stay, have seen the impact it has when other currencies are going up and down, or when there's a war, or when there's the we have seen enough cycles to know that now we're getting to a correction phase. Um, but yeah, so I think we are reaching
So, so you're still believing in the space, in the technology, and its continuity,
oh,
and you're betting
absolutely.
on it on the long run,
In the long
and
run,
you're aiming to create new collections.
yeah, absolutely. It's here to stay. I mean, I'm not focusing on it solely the way I did during the COVID years, because during the COVID years, that's all we had. There were no physical exhibitions to be had. But like, for example, last March, just a few months ago, I was invited by Leila Heller Gallery in Dubai upon their launch into Art Dubai Digital, which is going strong, to create a digital collection for them. So I did physical paintings. Each physical painting is accompanied by its NFT digital partner. So the same painting itself has been painted into a digital artwork that was minted as an NFT. And the collector who buys the painting gets the
So
NFT.
the NFT will serve as a, yeah, exactly. So it's the certificate of authentication,
Exactly.
right?
Ex-
That's how it's moving.
yes.
Digital is the way forward, I believe,
Yes.
especially
Yes.
in art and art creation,
Yeah.
especially for also the fine art collection.
Yes, absolutely. I love digital work. That's what I'm doing now is physical paintings with NFT counterparts, because that way the old school collector who doesn't know anything about NFT is not losing anything. I'm doing him or her a favor by giving them an NFT with the physical painting, and they'll thank me 10 years from now. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's the best of both worlds. It's the best of both worlds.
It is for sure. I'm a true believer in the space and the vision and how it's moving on. Shurooq, talking about your business and how you ventured from fine art, you hold different first titles as well. You hold a PhD. You've done a lot and you achieved a lot of massive, impressive things, especially in the MENA region as an Arab female as well. So, what is your next focus? What are you focusing on? Are you focusing more on doing new collections and painting more? Are you focusing on writing more? I don't know. Tell me a bit about your
Yeah,
outlook.
I have a lot in the pipeline, a lot. I'm working on a retrospective exhibition, which is an exhibition that gathers my work from the last 3 decades and puts it all together. And then I'm working on a book as well. It's kind of an autobiography, but changed to protect all the people involved. So it's kind of like fictional, non-fictional in a way, um, kind of like a
Mhm.
memoir thing, but it's very controversial. So I'd have to find the right publisher and the right country for it. It can't be in the Middle East. And I'm also working on new works, new paintings. I've actually delved into oil, back into oil, which I started when I was 13 years old. And I stopped with my first exhibition in 1993. Actually, when I did my very first solo exhibition in 1993, it was all acrylic, watercolors, pastels. And I stopped oils because oils take so long to dry. And I just did not have the patience for it. Now I'm going back into oils.
It's
I'm
a
more,
longer process.
yes, it's going to
Yeah.
be a longer process, smaller paintings, oils, and I'm excited I'm excited about it. It's very it's very different for me to get back into oils, so I'm challenging myself. I'm pushing myself. I hope my collectors will love the outcome. Hopefully next year I'll have the oil uh, exhibition. It will be very different in the sense that it's going to be much more cozy and small, because with oils I've gone to smaller sizes, and I don't usually do small sizes. Um, so hopefully them being smaller sizes will be a bit more affordable for the younger collectors, because these are comments I get all the time. Well, younger collectors can't afford my paintings. My paintings are always too big. And
Yeah.
so hopefully I'll win over another audience, like I won over the NFT audience, and a different kind of collector there as well. So it's always moving forward. I'm always trying something new, always challenging myself. Um, and I'm learning to be a DJ, because I love music, and
Oh, wow.
yes,
That's different.
that's completely, it's connected, by the way. You can't say it's not connected. It's an art and it's music. And for me,
It's art. Yeah.
yeah, there's no way I can create one painting without music. And I guess what's ended up happening in the last year is I got so tired of the music out there. I felt like it's very repetitive. They keep taking old songs and remixing them. And like, where is the innovation? Where is the newness? Where is the avant-garde in music? Like, it doesn't exist anymore. That's how I'm seeing it. I've gotten really bored
So
with
are
the
you getting into music production?
music mixing. So let's say I'll start off with mixing. And if I do well with the mixing and mix songs that I find inspiring, let's say, I will move to production. Yes. And it's connected to my art.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all connected because music is inspiring.
Then you will be able to create a new layer maybe on your art, make it not only digital but also adding a layer of music onto it.
The audio, absolutely. Because this is
Yeah, the
the
audio
goal.
part.
My goal is to have a fully interactive, all senses used exhibition. I want you to, what you hear, even in terms of the frequency, when I'm making the music, I want to use a frequency that relates to your aura, whether it's, the 936 hertz or 448 hertz, like, depending on the frequency, what mood do I want you to be in? Like, I'm really studying it in that depth. And by the way, little known fact about me, uh, I did actually sing. I've actually sung 5 songs as half of an album many years ago. We were supposed to do an album, and I did 5 songs, house music, but it never
Wow.
finished.
Released or
Huh? Sorry.
is it released? Are the songs public?
One of the songs got released on YouTube. One. But listen, my kids laugh about it. It's a joke for them. Mommy singing, house music, so yeah, let's keep it hidden. A little known fact about me. But there you go.
Everyone's watching. Head to YouTube and hear and listen to Shurooq's song. Yeah, I'm gonna research it later on. I love house music, and I don't know. Maybe also you should be adding a new layer to your music production and introducing sounds and even producing sounds yourself. So that would be
Yeah.
amazing. I'm hearing a lot of ventures. You have a lot to tackle, and I love the passion and everything you're thinking about and developing. How do you find all the time to create all of that? And do you get some help in any way? Because there's a lot of also understanding of the market of the consumer behavior, and you told me that in the NFT you understood that you entered a new market, a new audience, and back then in fine arts you were positioned tackling higher net worth people collecting fine art, etc. Now you want to go into a new untapped market and audience. That's purely marketing and strategies. How do you do that?
I have zero knowledge of marketing. I don't know that it's a strategy. I go with my gut instinct. I have no one to help me. I do not have an assistant. I do not have a secretary. I do not have anyone helping me. I know a lot of artists have, many people help them, whether it's an agent or I have nobody. I do it all on my own. And it's simply because, as I told you, I make very good use of my time on a daily basis. So, and I do a lot of research. My background as a PhD student, perhaps back in the day, helps me there. I'm very good at researching. And for me, researching these days is so easy because when I did my PhD, research didn't mean Google. Research meant I had to go to the library and I
Yeah,
had to look at the books and take out the books and put them all on the floor and open the books and look at the pages and bookmark all the
yeah,
hundreds of
the
pages.
encyclopedia, and
Yeah.
that's
So,
even before Encarta and all these
yes, exactly.
computers.
So nowadays, research is so easy for me. I'm just sitting at my desk and I'm just Googling and researching. And so it's really easy for me. I think if you get, you know how it is, like, I'm not a great cook, but I hear this all the time. People say when you want to make a tabkha, some you want to cook something, the important part is the preparation. You prepare the ingredients, you collect everything, and then you just put it all together. This is it. Anna, for me, I do a lot of research. I collect all my information. I gather my information. I research the market. I Google. I get on X. I see who's following who and who's doing what and who's buying what. And I focus on, I really do a lot of research like that. And I get that knowledge and I prepare myself so that when I'm ready to do the exhibition, get into the work itself, it's just putting it all together and it becomes a lot easier. I always say for me, the hardest part of a painting is not the actual painting. It's not me putting brush to canvas. That is the easiest part. For me, the hardest
It's preparing for it.
is preparing for it. 100%. Yeah. Time management.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, time management is crucial. And I admire the way you do it. And really, well done on all the ventures that are on the horizon and you're looking to achieve. One question concluding the business aspect. Before all of that, before Shurooq, the painter, the poet, the PhD holder, were you ever employed? Did you ever had any full-time job or something?
Yes.
Can we know a bit more about that and how you transitioned into being a full-time artist?
Yeah, absolutely. I was a professor at Kuwait University. I was teaching English there. So it was related to my writing and my poetry. So it wasn't a job that was completely not connected to my passions. But as an Arab woman in Kuwait, as a Kuwaiti woman in Kuwait, as an artist in Kuwait at the time, there were zero opportunities to make money as an artist. Zero. Because art was not considered a job. It was a hobby. That's how people thought of it. The government didn't support it. It wasn't something they gave in college as even something you can get as a degree. It was completely not acceptable to be an artist. And it's not like I grew up wanting to be an artist. I was. غصباً عني, like it was something beyond my control. I was given a gift and my parents noticed it when I was 7 years old. My teachers noticed it. I started winning, competitions in school and started, I started realizing that I can do this better than most people around me. So that's when I realized, okay, maybe I do have a gift. Maybe I can do this, So it was never a question of me, especially since I got married very young and had kids straight away. It was never an option for me to just not have a job. I needed a salary. I had to have a fixed salary. So being teaching at Kuwait University, teaching English, it's subsidized. Of course, it took care of my family, but also it subsidized the fact that I could power my art on the side. And I had exhibitions constantly throughout my career as a professor. From 1993 and all the way up until 2010, I had, every 2 years, a solo exhibition.
A job on the side.
Yeah, always. It was always there. And then it was in 2010 that I had my big break as an artist, that my work was discovered and went to auction, and it got like the highest price at auction for the Arab world. And people thought, oh, an overnight star, an overnight success. It wasn't overnight. It's taken me 15, 20 years to get to that point. And then from 2010 to now, 2024, it's taken another 14 years. So there's nothing overnight about it. I'm working every single day of my life. There's not a day that I'm not doing something to move me forward, whether it be as a woman or as an artist or as a writer or as a spiritualist, or as there's every single day I take small steps, and these small steps add up to a massive career. And then you say, well, how did you do it? Well, I didn't waste my time. I just focused every day to do the best that I can. And it doesn't mean I'm working my ass off every single day. I'm not. but I am focusing on the right things. Even on a day where I don't want to do anything and I don't feel like doing anything and I just want to have a slow day. That slow day is a very important day for me to recharge my batteries, rebalance myself, relax, connect to myself as a pure soul that needs nothing from the planet. And then that gives me the power and the energy the next day to go through the steps. So you have to have timeouts. The timeout is super important.
I just wanted, to shed some light about your breakthrough and what happened really, the buzz around your work and how people discovered you, especially in the region. And so thank you for bringing this up as well. Before we conclude, what's your intake on social media? Is it really something that you count on nowadays to reach people and to promote your work and yourself?
It used to be. Social media used to be very important because at one point it became almost like an entity unto itself. It's a business unto itself. And nowadays you can have full businesses on social media. Absolutely. But for me now, I'm in a space where I'll post something once in a while that has meaning for me, and I'm not looking for anything out of it. Like I'm not actively using it to promote my business or my work.
Because you don't need it or because you don't want to?
No, not because I don't need it. I think I do need it. And I think if I had like a social media manager, I'd have like millions of followers. But because I'm so neglectful of it and don't give it attention, I'm not where my presence on social media is not where it could be. I know this for a fact. But I'm just more into real life these days. I'm in a space in my life where I'm focused more on the real world, even if it's not real world as in 3D, I could be in the 5D in my head, but it's, but the world outside of my phone, the world beyond my iPhone, let's say. I try to put my phone down more now. I try to not be on it as often. And so try to move into more slow, intentional living, let's say. Intentional living is what I'm trying to do now. Yeah.
I love the word intentional living. Yeah, that's amazing, by the way. In conclusion, we can go on and on. By the way, Shurooq, it's amazing to have you, and we can really do a 2-3 hours episode because you're full of insights and good advices as well. And in conclusion, what advice would you give to young artists and entrepreneurs who want to make a mark in their fields but face a socio-political challenge?
Well, obviously, protect yourself, first of all. Don't put yourself in a position where you could get hurt, like seriously hurt. So protect yourself. So get yourself out of the situation. Find a platform that can allow you the freedom to express yourself. Don't stop yourself from saying what you want to say or doing what you want to do. But do it in a way where you're not really attacking attacking a specific person or don't be specific. Try to say what you want to say in a more generic format. Now, I say this and people will say, but isn't that hypocritical? It's not hypocritical because in my paintings, I have generalized by doing Khaliji, not necessarily Kuwaiti, for example. Okay. Yes, I have specified fi'ah. I have specified a specific part of the world. I didn't say Arab. I didn't say the world. I said Khaliji, right? So there are ways to tackle
So
it.
it's the whole region.
Yeah. So there are ways to tackle it that could still protect you, even though you're going to face the hate and the socio-political backlash. You have to truly believe in what you're saying and what you're doing. You have to really, 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 from the bottom of your heart, have the passion for it, have to really believe it. If you don't believe in it, it'll be easy to give it up as soon as you confront a little bit of hate. It'll be easy to give up. So you have to really believe in it. Do not give up because of people hating on you. There will always be people hating on you. There are trolls on the internet who are anonymous. They're cowards. You don't know who their personality is. They don't know who their face is, their name is. They're just trolls, and all they do all day is just hate on everything and everybody. You can't let that get to you, you know? So you have to really grow thick skin. That's my biggest advice would be, if you're going to get into a role of being a socio-political player, you have to grow thick skin. Because if you don't grow thick skin, and if you don't believe in it 100%, and you don't protect yourself in that way, you are going to get hurt. So God bless you all, and just grow a thick skin. Yeah. You have to believe in yourself. That's the bottom line. I know it's a cliche. People always say, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. But honest to God, if you don't have that innate, I mean, I can't tell you how many times people told me that I would never become an artist because I'm a little Kuwaiti girl living in a little country called Kuwait that nobody cares about, nobody's heard of. I cannot tell you growing up how many times people laughed in my face. But inside me, I knew what I was. I didn't have to voice it. I didn't have to shout it. I didn't have to be loud about it. I just went about day by day of every day of my life, just being me and doing me. And it got me to where I am today. That's it.
Amazing advice. Thanks so much, Shurooq, for sharing all these gems and insights. Thank you for being here on the episode. It was
My
a
pleasure.
real pleasure to connect with you and to host you, of course. I wish you all the best in your next endeavors, and
Thank you so much.
see you soon.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.